Hey everybody, Jeff Schneider here, and today we're going to do a real-time reharm. We're going to use Hey Jude by Paul McCartney, and I'm going to put new chords to it, make it a little jazzier, get some gospel R&B vibes in there. I want you to see how I do this in real time. So I'm gonna do my best to think out loud and explore some different harmonic possibilities and give you a look at what goes on inside my mind and in my ears to come up with new chords to a song like this. So let's get started. This is in the key of F major. The first phrase goes like this. So right off the bat, I'm thinking, what should we do with that A? That's sort of our first destination point, melodically speaking. And we don't have any chords yet at all, so I can do anything I want here. I don't have to worry about where I'm coming from because there is no previous chord that I have to work with yet. Now maybe I'll do something with the C, but let's get to that in a moment. So first, that A. The original is F major with the A on top, but maybe I do something like this. I'll just go to one of my go-to voicings, which is this right here. So this is a D add 9 over F sharp. It's a D major chord with the 9 in there and the third in the bass, which is F sharp. And now I'm thinking, well, what do I do with the C that comes before that D add 9 over F sharp? Maybe I start with F major. Now another thing I'm thinking about is how quickly do I want the chords to be moving here? Like, that sounds nice. But at this point in the arrangement, I don't really like how quickly the chords are moving. I think I'm just gonna leave the C alone and not put a chord underneath it. It's just a pickup note anyway, so we'll go to the D add 9 over F sharp when we hit the A. And then as I'm holding the A, I think I'm gonna go to another chord, because that A is being held for a few beats at least. So maybe we resolve up from the D add 9 over F sharp to like a G minor 9. That sounds nice. One other thing I can do, instead of doing D add 9 over F sharp like this, what if I make it D major 9 over F sharp, which is similar. The only difference is I'm going to add a C sharp to this voicing, which is the major 7. I think I like that even more. It's just a little darker, a little more rich. So one more time. And another reason why that G minor 11 works well is because the melody notes that come after the A, C, D, all work on G minor 11. So I don't need to change chords at all there, and I can keep that harmonic pacing nice and slow. Then my next note that I'm going to change chords on is the G there. Some things I'm thinking about here, a continuation of that ascending bass line. Maybe we do an A minor 11. This kind of a sound. That's okay. Now notice I'm not really thinking about functional harmony. I'm not thinking too much about, well, does that chord lead to this chord? What I was thinking about there was this ascending bass line, F sharp, G, A minor 11. So that's a possibility. What if we, instead of going to A minor, we go to an A flat major 7? I know that will work because, again, my melody note is G, and G is the major 7 of A flat major 7. So here's what it sounds like on its own. Sounds good, but it's all about how does that chord in isolation fit in with the rest of the chords that we have thus far. I actually like that even more than the A minor 11. Now, as to why, I could probably come up with some theoretical reason, but the truth is I just like how it sounds. So a lot of reharmonization, for me at least, is using some theory and some ear to figure out a result that just sounds good to me. If you want to get really good at using theory and your ears in combination to create music like this, I highly recommend you check out my Jazz R&B Chord Accelerator, which is a bundle of all of my best piano chord theory, piano voicing courses, all combined into this really great package. And it's 70% off this week, linked on the screen and in the description below. But let's get back to this reharm. I'm actually playing major 9 there. Just to be a little bit more exact, I have this voicing with the B flat in it. That's the major 9. The melody that comes up goes like that. And that A natural there is not going to sound good with my A flat major 9 chord. So we could do that. That's an A minor 11, which works with both G and A. And that also could sound nice because I'm now ascending up with my bass line, going from F sharp to G to A flat, and then we could go to an A minor 11 after that. So what does that sound like in context? Remember, you always have to bring it back to the entire progression, because whenever you're diving deep within a progression that you're trying to work out, it's really easy to get focused on one tree or a couple of trees and lose sight of the entire forest. So you have to, many times throughout this process, back up, play the whole thing, and make sure it sounds good as a whole. I'm into it. I think that works well. That ascending bass line really glues this whole thing together. And even though these chords might not make a ton of sense on a harmonic functional level, it still sounds good because, well, the voicings are strong, but also you have that ascending bass line. Now, sometimes I do use more functional harmony to reharm my songs or melodies that I'm working with. And again, in my Jazz R&B Chord Accelerator, I talk a ton about that, and I'll probably use some of those techniques in this video as well. So let's keep going here. My next melody note that I need to consider is that B flat right there. So I have to change chords because A minor 11, B flat is not going to sound particularly good on an A minor 11. I think we can go away from this chromatic ascending bass line at this point. I don't want to make it too predictable. So let's see here. We have A minor 11. And then, oh, another thing I have to think about is what's the note that comes after this B flat? It's an F. So this chord that I trialed here is a B flat add 9 over D, very similar to what we started with, that D major over F sharp. I like these chords a lot. They work really well for this style of music, and they work well for reharmonizing too, because they're so floaty in the way that they sound and feel that it doesn't really matter whether or not it makes theoretical sense, because they're such floaty chords, kind of like sus chords. You can kind of stick them in anywhere and they sound good. So that could be an option. Let's back it up again, hear how it sounds in context. And by the way, this is B flat add 9 over D. That sounds nice, but I think I should try some other options. It sounds a little too like goody two shoes or something. I don't know. I kind of want some darker energy there, a little bit more spicy than just that pure sound. So we're coming from A minor 11. Maybe I'm just gonna try some different ideas here. So I'm thinking about, okay, I've got a B flat here. What are some chords that could work with B flat? Maybe E flat major 7. That sounds good, but again, a little too clean for me. I want something a little bit more edgy. So maybe E flat minor. And that could work with the F as well. Let's try that in context. Now that's definitely edgier, definitely darker. It's going from that A minor 11 sound to E flat minor 9. It's the A to the E flat. That tritone dissonance it's too much. It's going too far the other direction. So we need to find a middle ground. Well, that's kind of interesting. So this is an E, this is like E major or E6/9 with a sharp 11, or you could think of it like an F sharp triad over E major. But let's hear what that sounds like in context. No, that's still too far out of left field. And this is why I keep saying you have to check how the chord sounds in context, because this chord sounded cool on its own, but as soon as I brought it back into the fold, it wasn't working. So I'm going to try a few different ideas without talking them out, just so we can move a bit faster here. Okay, this is kind of cool. This E flat add 9 over G. Again, it's that same chord that I like a lot, but in this case, it's less random, or sounds less random, because we've got that G in the bass, which is within the context of the chords I've already established here. We have a G in the bass, so it's not so out of the ordinary. Now I could keep that chord with the F in the melody, because it works fine, but I think because that's such a dramatic interval there, that fifth, it's quite a large interval, I'm going to mirror that moment by changing the chord as well. Maybe, that's a G flat major 7. That's kind of nice. So I'm a one-trick pony at this point, because now I have B flat add 9 over D. So you can see why I like this chord so much. Again, we have to bring it back and make sure everything is sounding good in context. So here's what it sounds like so far. That's not bad. I think I might actually do this instead, where I change the chord after I play that F. So it's kind of like note and then chord. I like that a lot. Okay, so I like the B flat there, because that's kind of like a nod to the original progression. So we can go B flat with the D in the melody. We're coming from F add 9. And then we could resolve back to F major, which is also sticking to the original progression, but that's getting too predictable, or it sounds too basic in the context of the other chords. So instead, let's do kind of a fake out. We can do this parallel tenths motion. And then instead of finishing the pattern like that with A and F, let's go back to the chord we started with, the D over F sharp. So going from B flat to D add 9 over F sharp. That sounds pretty cool. Anyway, if you guys are digging this kind of thing, let me know in the comments. We can push further into the song. And remember, if you want to get better at doing this kind of thing in your own music, make sure to check out my Jazz R&B Chord Accelerator. It is on sale this week and this week only. So, link in the description and somewhere on the screen. And for now, if you want to check out another video, you can click right over here, and I'll see you over there. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.